Dear colleagues, welcome back again. We are going to carry on with the data types. We talked about integer data types already. Now we will talk about float data types. Float data types for the floating numbers. Mainly float is the main data type, and other than float we have double and decimal data types. So what are they? Float numbers are, for example, 3.5 as I mentioned before, or 4.5 or 4.5 point something something something, whatever it is, are called floating numbers with the fraction or integer part. And as you remember, for the data types we talked about data types as they are used according to their size, according to their types. Okay, so now floating numbers are 4 bytes. This is the first thing that we have to know. Double is bigger than this, and it is 8 bytes. And the last one is decimal, is 16 bytes. So how does it work? And here is one example for the floating numbers. It's, let's say, 32 bits. In other words, it is 4 bytes. On the right hand side, this part, on the left hand side, the first one is this is sign bit. You remember 0 is plus, 1 is minus, and those numbers 0 1 1 1 1 1 0 0, here 8 bits is representing the exponential part of the number, and the other part is the fraction. I don't want to go details about it, but generally there are parts in the float data type, or for 32 bits. So similar case for the double, similar case for the decimal, depending on the size, and then you can get bigger numbers there. And then basically these are the floating numbers. And the next one is char. Actually we can say his character, and then char is the variable, data type. And the last one is boolean. It is for which is used bool. So for char we put one single character like capital A or small case z, or digit 1, or special character. As you see, for all of them we are using single quotes. I must mention here, this one which is used as a character is not equal to number 1. So in other words, this one is not equal to number 1. So what does it mean? If you want to add, let's say there is a text. This is the text. How do I understand it's the text? Because of that code, double quote, and then plus another text. Let's say this is another text, and if you add both of them, result is going to be like this: edit hello. So because we are just adding two texts together. Now when we talk about character, if we are using A plus, let's say, Z, result is going to be together A Z. Okay, now when we talk about numbers, if we are using 1 plus, let's say, 4, result is going to be 5, because it's a mathematical calculation, because they are numbers. But when we talk about character 1 plus character 4, then result is going to be not 5. Result is going to be 1 and 4 together. So that's why this one is not equal to number 1. This one is character 1. Okay, so that's why we use a single quote for the character information. And the last one for the primitive data types are bool, and it has two values which can be true, and the second one is false. That's all. If you are using only true or false, we are using bool kind of data type. Okay, when it comes to like reference data types, as I mentioned, like string is a reference data type. Generally in double quote we are putting some text, for example like this. So these are text values for the string. Even this without any space. Look, here there is one space, here there is no space. It is called null value, and then it's also string. How do I understand? Because of double quote. And all the other ones, when the time comes, we are going to learn one by one. So maybe I can just show you 2 more slides for the values, because from the previous video we just set average values, but here are the exact values. For 1 byte, it is the range is from 0 to 255. It is unsigned integer. For S byte, it is signed integer between -128 to 127. Integer value, okay, all the numbers are here. You can pause and you can just read it yourself. And the next slide, let me just make it smaller a little bit, or bigger, sorry. Okay, and as you see here, float, double, character and bool, these are the values that we are using for, and then these are the range for the values. And the most important part here, normally in the previous videos we just talked, here character, each character is 1 byte size. Okay, so maybe you remember 1 byte is equal to 8 bits, is equal to 1 character. It was called like this. It was called like this. But here in C#, as you see on the slide, this character is 16 bits. Why it is 16? Why it is 2 bytes? Because we are using Unicode. So when one character is 1 byte, if we are using ASCII code, it is 2 bytes. In other words, 16 bits is also 1 character if we are using Unicode. I think you remember from the previous videos. So Unicode is 2 bytes. Why? Because for the ASCII code we can represent from 0 to, because 8 bits, from 0 to 255 different characters. When we talk about 29 different or 30, almost 30 different letters, small case letters, 30 different capital letters, in total is 60. If we add here digits from 0 to 9 is 70. If we add some special characters in our keyboard, think about question mark, full stop, blah blah, it carries on. So 255 is enough. But when we add here some other letters, for example, some letters from Kirill alphabet, or some letters from China, some letters from Arabic countries, so then the number 255 is not going to be enough. Just to be understand what is that Unicode, then it's decided that to create for 1 character is going to be 2 bytes. Why? Because we have like wide area network, which is internet, for example. Some letters which is used in China could be seen in here in our university. So that's why to be able to recognize with our computers, or to be able to recognize in the network to transfer, at the end of the day the letter will not send directly itself, only the letter's code, Unicode of the letter is going to be sent. So that's why 2 bytes is decided to be used for the letters. That's why in C# that we are going to use as a programming language here is going to be 2 bytes, in other words 16 bits for one character. Okay, generally I mean the last picture of this data types are summarize primitive and reference data types mainly. And primitive data types has 4 main primitive data types: integer, float, character, and bool. And the reference data types, string, and the others as well are the reference data types. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope to see you soon in the next video. We are going to talk about operators.